Marfae. This is the cute little archetype that everyone loves how it looks, but everyone says that it's bad. But I actually figured out a pretty cool combination here. So what you can do is you can make an Archetype beast in the deck, which is pretty good, right? But the most important thing is this combo. So how the Marfaes work, and I'll explain it really quick before the cards go away, is the Marfae has the ability when your opponent normals or special summons, or if it's targeted for an attack, you can bounce the card back and then like add a beast or special summon a beast. So the combo here would be to bounce back the cat instantly to go ahead and add the Tosa over here, the mystical beast of the forest. Then with Fanny over here, you can special summon. So you want this card in your hand. This is a really key card in the Marfae archetype, which is actually supposed to be part of like the raccoon archetype. That's where people usually saw play with this. You can make the raccoon in here, but I don't think it's that great compared to just going ahead and just popping a card. But it is something that you can do in the deck. And you're going to see a Reborn with the Ayer's Rock Sunrise, which basically reborns most of the stuff in the deck. Plus, you can reduce the attack of your opponent. But the whole goal is to go ahead and make Appaloosa plus Nat Beast, and then you have a like kind of a loop destruction, so you can go ahead and search out and pop every single time with, of course, the Kathy and Fenny combo to go ahead and search out this card. And then you have a lot of ability to kind of stall with this to go ahead and add one or, again, special summon another card. So the whole goal is to link up with this and go for Nat Beast, because that shuts down majority of decks. You could technically go for Barkion, but like, is anyone really making Barkion in 2020? I don't know. I just don't think it's that viable to make Barkion, but it is technically something that you can do. The whole goal, again, is to just go ahead and make that setup. But I want to show you guys what you also can do if you don't want to go Appaloosa Nat Beast, because that's a very strong turn 1 opener. Unless they have a Kaiju, then you cry. But you still have 1 disruption in the deck. You can impermanence to have more disruptions here. But we'll go ahead and see multiple copies of the Mrs. Radiant here, because we happen to have Reborn. There's a lot of cards that are just special summon more cards. So with double copies of Mrs. Radiant, it makes it a little bit more difficult for your opponent to attack over Archetype Beast. That's usually how people get over an Archetype Beast, but it still is a pretty big threat turn 1 for a lot of different decks. But as far as I've seen, this is the best variant of Marfae. I've seen a lot of people just literally try to stall with the deck to go ahead and special summon and then nothing happens. They try to make it a link deck, but I think the correct way to play it as of right now is to make a Nat Beast and then Appaloosa. Yeah, there's double copies of Mrs. Radiant, but I think that is an option. But even though this card would technically get a free search, you don't want to lose out on your Nat Beast. You need things to protect it, and Appaloosa is pretty much the go-to card. But now that you guys have seen it in action, I want to give you guys a brief deck profile. The deck is still in its very, very early iteration, so I think that there are some cards that I want to mention that could be also great for the deck. It is a 40-card deck before someone says Upstart plus, you know, a 41-card plus Upstart. It's because we need the new Master Rules here. So pretty much really what it comes down to is spamming a bunch of monsters. It can be a link deck. The Exceed does exist over here, so I didn't get to show it off during the gameplay because it's, again, usually going to be a setup where you make Nat Beast, you make this, and your opponent GGs. That's primarily how you want to go ahead and set up your turn 1 plays. There's a lot of really cool cards in the deck that I didn't get to go over, so like I said, I want to talk a little bit about them. So first off, the Marfae Mammy over here, which is the mommy. This requires 2+ level 2 beast monsters, and it has a quick effect where you get to attach a beast monster from your hand or field to this card as material, and once it has 3, it can't be destroyed by battle, and then also you take no battle damage from attacks involving this card. Then it was 5+, when an attack is declared involving this card and an attack wizard monster, you inflict damage to your opponent equal to that attack wizard monster's attack. So what they want you to do is attach a bunch of materials to this card, invest everything into this one play, and then you can just keep on attacking your opponent. Is it viable? Absolutely not. I just don't think, I think it really should have had 0 attack. That way you can make your opponent take more damage. And I wish when it said 5, it would like double the amount or something, because you really need some type of way to OTK or do something with this deck to make it more viable. At the moment, I would say the Exceed or the boss monster, if you want to call Mammy the boss monster, it's just not viable enough. But they still have, again, a lot of cards to just go ahead and summon another Marfae. So you have the ability to, again, go ahead and make link monsters, because that's kind of how the deck plays right now. Plus, you have Obedient Skull, which lets you get out triple monsters, which again, that's instantly access to a bunch of the links. Now keep in mind, if you activate this effect, you can't special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except for beast type monsters. So there is a downside with this card, but again, the goal would be to kind of stall for 1 turn with, of course, the ability with the mythical beast of the forest to go ahead and pop cards. You can also tactically make number 64, but at the end of the day, all this card really does is make it so you get a very strong attack token, which again, in 2020, you need negates. That's how most decks want to operate. But anyways, let's go ahead and hop right into the deck profile. So we've got 3 copies of the Rescue Cat. We've got 2 copies of Gallus. It's basically a 50-50 with Gallus, but it is another target, of course, with our Rescue Cat. We've also got 3 copies of the Valor Fawn. So this one lets you discard a card and target level 2 or lower beast, and then go ahead and special summon it. But you do lose out on a card, so that is kind of a downside. But you can actually recycle your Mythical Beast of the Forest with that as well. And then with 3 copies of the Pony over here. So this one has the effect where it bounces back. This one lets you add one. What is it? 1 level 2 or lower beast from your graveyard. So this one's kind of more for recycling. And then Puppy has the effect where you get to special summon a level 2 or lower beast from your deck. And then this one you guys already know. You can play with more copies of this if you want. Because obviously if you have it in your hand, it's no big deal. If you have it in your deck, you just add it to your hand. Maybe you can try out with 3 copies of this. I think it's a pretty important card in the deck, but you can, like I said, recycle it. And then with Kathy, this one lets you go ahead and add a beast monster from your deck to your hand, except for, this one doesn't have a restriction. I wanted to mention this card. Oh gosh, the name is, no, not Palpaboon. There is a card, is it green? Yes. Yes, this is a card I wanted to mention because, like you said, the Archetype is still early in its development, so you don't have enough Marfae cards to make a deck out of it. But anyways, so Green Baboon, Defender of the Forest, obviously you can have this card to discard a card, but if this card is in your hand or graveyard, when a face-up beast-type monster you control is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, except for damage type, you pay 1,000 life points to special summon this card. So if you were to lose out on your card, you can bring back this card and just keep on using it as like extra link material. You do lose life points, but there is a reason why you'd want to do this. Where is it? Yeah, this card's in your hand or graveyard. Yeah, it doesn't have to be destroyed by your opponent, so if you can destroy it via your own card effect, it can work. Now I want to go ahead and mention this other card. This is why I wanted to mention this card. You can actually also use emergency. Oh, if I could spell it. Emergency rescue. Okay, so this card pays life points. That's good. There's also Upstart Goblin, but Upstart Goblin's a 1-of right now. Anyways, Emerging Emergency Rescue has the ability to make it so if your life points are lower than your opponent's, you reveal 3 beast monsters with 300 attack and 100 defense from your deck. Your opponent chooses 1 of them. You get to add 1, and then you shuffle the rest of them back to your deck. The targets for this would be Rescue Cat, but there's also Marfae Puppy. It's just, again, another target so the card doesn't become dead. The whole deck really needs to have Rescue Cat turn 1, or you need Obedience School to make these more powerful plays. Keep in mind, if you use Obedience School, you usually won't be able to go ahead and make Alpaloosa, unless, of course, you're playing on a Dueling Book, because you can cheat. But for the most part, yeah, that's how you would utilize it for that. Anyways, we were at Kathy, I think, and then we have 3 copies of Fenny. This one lets you special summon a Marfae beast from your hand, except for itself. Yeah, any beast monster from your hand. There's probably a lot of other great targets. Yeah, you can summon anything. No restrictions on that. So if there's any other OP beast cards, let me know in the comment section below, because I've seen a lot of people want Marfae gameplay, but like I try to deliver it for you guys, but I couldn't get the deck running. So this is a much better build. And then we also have a 1-for-1 target, which is the Uniflora Mystical Beast of the Forest. So if all monsters in your graveyard are beast type, you contribute this card to special summon a beast type monster from your hand or graveyard. So that's kind of cool. I think that's a pretty decent effect. And again, you can, throw this card in the graveyard and not even go minus, lose 1,000 life points. And then we have Ayer's Rock Sunrise. This can reduce a bunch of attack from your opponent. But then also, you have that ability to it's just a monster reborn at the end of the day. Well, it's more so just, bring back a beast-type monster in your graveyard. And then all face-up monsters your opponent controls lose 200 attack for each beast, plant, and winged beast monster in your graveyard until the end of this turn. It's really just used for the first effect, but the other effect can be used where you're reducing. And then we got Reasoning over here, because the levels in here, we have a lot of 2s that probably call 2, but there's a decent amount of 3s as well. Great card. And then we've got Upstart, 3 copies of Obedience School, Reborn, and then World Legacy Inheritor. And then we've got 3 copies of Tag over here. This one is a quick play, so don't mind setting that card at all. Then we have Living Fall, so just for extra ability to push. And then we have 3 copies of the Impermanent, so you can kind of disrupt your opponent's board, because remember, you can still start popping things and then maybe reestablish board control, or you can just make your Nat Beast, or you can make this to stall it if you really want to. I just don't... suggest investing into the Marfae Mammy over here because that's the kind of the boss monster. There's another card that I did want to mention really quick, the other Exceed here, which is the Marfaes of the Forest, which makes it so you can attach material and then add a Marfae card from your deck to your hand. For the Marfae monster or monsters you control, it returns to the hand. You can target a face-up monster your opponent controls, and while it's face-up on the field, it can't attack, and you get to negate the effects. But it's still there. They're going to end up linking with it. Again, the boss monsters in the deck just don't seem to have what it takes right now. But as far as extra goes, we're running Naturia Beast, 2 copies of number 64, just in case you need to get over a very large attack. And then we got 2 copies of Mammy, 2 copies of Marfaes of the Forest, and we've got the Gachi Gachi, we've got Crusadia, we got the Zero Boros, Boral Sword, Appaloosa, Mrs. Radiant, and Masquerena. If you go ahead and make like a Masquerena plus like some of the cards, you can just get the cards to just be like immune to stuff, and it becomes really nasty. But these are, other cards that I can suggest in here. I'm also thinking that you can maybe get away with extravagance in this deck and just max out on triple copies of like, all the stuff. But anyways, guys, that is it for the 2020 Marfae deck. Let me know, guys, if you have any suggestions down below in the comment section below for this deck and other ways to play it. I would love to see it. If you guys got any gameplays of that and you want to send it in, feel free to go ahead and send it to AzneyesReplays@gmail.com to get featured on the channel. I want to give a big shout out to my boy Teriyaki for hooking me up with the one that you guys just saw. And if you are new here, make sure you guys subscribe, turn on that bell so you don't miss out on new Marfae gameplay. When we get maybe more of the Archetype, it'll be a little bit better. But right now, it's pretty good at spamming Naturia Beast plus, of course, getting Appaloosa. And then again, you have that secret weapon up your sleeve. And you can maybe mess with the numbers of the Mythical Beast of the Forest to maybe pop. Because it's not like a once per turn, although most of the Marfae stuff is like once per turn for each one, but you can still obviously special from deck, hand, do what you need to do. But anyways, I'll catch you in the next vid. Have a good one, and I'm out. Peace.